Hello everyone. So here I'm going to show you very short as I can to explain as much feature as I can of AfterNow Prez Remote. So here's AfterNow Prez Web UI where you can control all your presentations. So this is what happens when you log in here. You can start your first presentation, and here I'm going to go and start working on an existing presentation. So you can see that existing presentation has a set of slides already, number slide 1, number slide 2, with 2 elements, and a slide 3 that's still empty. And the first slide, you can see that I've created some text panel, I have a little graph, I have some other text and another little images about the HoloLens, and you can see for each of those I've created transitions. So they all appear or disappear all on command, and I will walk you through how all that works actually. And on the second slide, you'll see there's a graph of an IT infrastructure, so I'll show that as a good example of display. So those graphs are pretty simple. Those slides are working. I'm going to show you now by creating a third slide very fast what you can do here and what the possibilities. So if you click on the plus sign here, you can upload images or add text. Let's add a little piece of text here and explain first. And the next asset I'm going to upload now is a math formula and 3D visualization. So I'm going to enable that and put that in there. This is a mathematic formula. And I'm going to put that into a fancy color if I can. So let me find a color that's, let's put something quite in between, not too clear, not too bright, so it can be in between colors. I'm going to center it. Here we go. So that's the text I want to display. I'm going to add an animation to it. Everything you add into the create into that panel, you need to add it on the right an animation. So I'm going to click just add. That's just enough. That creates everything by default. It makes this element appear, and it will appear when I click or air tap with the Oculus. I'm going to upload a file. I'm going to upload that actual mathematic formula, and that's the math function. And that's a 3D object, so it's uploading here. I'm going to add an animation to it. Here it is, and it appears. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do in this one, I'm going to make it a little bit more advanced. So it's just an element that appears, but I want to give them a little bit of life. Okay. So we have this first element here that appears, and that's fine. But for this one, I want it to be a little bit more fancy. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make it scale in. So it's going to from small to big. And I'm going to do it pretty slowly. Okay? And I want that scaling to happen just after I've displayed the text. Okay? So I'm click from on command, I attach it to the previous animation. There we go. So now they're together. You can see that. So I have this one and this one, they're now together into the same animation. So what I'm going to do next, I'm going to actually make them disappear. Because you can make them appear, but you can also make them disappear. So on the next animation, I'm going to create here and add another animation for this same object here. And on this one, I'm going to make it disappear. So I scroll down and we have the ending animation. Here, it disappears. Okay? And then attached to that, I'm going to attach another animation here to my math object. And this one, I want to make it disappear, but scale out. Okay? And I'm going to attach that to the previous animation. There we go. So now we have two animations that makes those two objects appear. One that make them appear and one scaling. Another one animation that's going to make them disappear and scaling. Cool, huh? So let's see in the headset how all that presentation will play out and how you organize. So once you upload everything in there, set up all your transition in here, you can at that point go in the headset and organize the content in 3D. So let's do that right now. Okay, so now we're in AfterNow Prez inside the Oculus Quest, and I'm going to try to not move as much. So we've designed it to work with ends, so let's get started. You see the presentation AfterNow Prez Get Started that we updated just a second ago. So now I'm going to get into it. So it's going to load that presentation for me. And here's the presentation. So all the elements initially appears all together scrambled into the center in front of you. And you have the pedestal at the bottom. That's where the point of view of the users will be when they'll participate in your presentation. So you want to organize things so from their point of view, they can see it pretty nicely. So here, I have my 2 pieces of text. So this is hardware market for AR. I'm going to make that a little bit more bigger. Yay, big like this. That's pretty cool. And that's a prediction. It's not fully accurate, and that's an old one actually. But let's use that one for now. And yeah, and that's just the title of this presentation, so we want that to be even bigger, just for the fun of it. I'm gonna put that about over here, and this guy here, and this guy here. Okay, so like from the point of view of the user, this is a really cool picture of HoloLens totally put apart, even if I'm doing this in Oculus Quest. And I see here the list of slides, so I can go on slide number 2, and in there I have also a little piece of text that talk about the IT infrastructure, and I have this nice little IT infrastructure that I'm going to put here for us to explore and our users and comment on it. And I'm going to increase this little guy here and put it over the sky like this, IT infrastructure. So let's go on the third slide, the slide that we worked on together, and I can show you a little bit more about this. So I upload this math formula, and you can see the big math formula here, and it's actually in motion. So I'm gonna squeeze that and orient it so from the point of view of my user, they can actually see it and make sense of it. So let's think about, yeah, let's put it like this so people can slide on the side of it and understand that formula properly. Okay, so I'm gonna put it down, grab this guy, put this one in the same place as the other ones, pretty big. Those are the slide titles in a way. So I want them to look pretty good. And here, this is my mathematic formula. So this is a scene function if you look at it from the green axis. So I wanted the user to be able to slide on the slide like this and see it and then go back in the front. Okay, so now I've organized all my presentation, placed all the objects the way I want them to be placed. I can review them. So I go back to my slide 1, slide 2, and slide 3. So that looks pretty good to me. So I pop up the menu, you put your palm up, you see this little button here that appears, that will allow you to trigger the menu. And now I can start presenting. Up, I click present. If I have people that join me right now, so I click here, they will appear in the participant list down there, and I can will be able to talk to them, and we'll be able to get to, synchronize together and get started. So as they're not here right now, and this is not a test for that, let's you see the particles down there, that means it's ready to start. So you just step into the pedestal and into the marker, and then the presentation is actually starting. So to move from, as I've put most of those slides on comment, I have to do an air tap, and to make those elements appear one after the other. Oh, here's my graph, and I can talk about this prediction of hardware evolution. Oh yeah, this is the message that goes with it. And here, this is the HoloLens exploded. This is the second slide, and I can introduce, and then air tap, and this is about the network infrastructure. Now air tap again, and here I can see my network infrastructure and detail and talk about it. This is my visualization. And let's go on the one we created together. As a transition, you can see all those variations we've created there. So I'm going to air tap. This is the title, and you see the graph popping in like that. It's zoomed in from scale in. That's the transition I did. If I air tap again, as they're tied together, both of them will disappear and scale out in once. Pretty cool, no? So yeah, that was my intro on how to use transitions and how to get started with AfterNow Prez. Thank you for listening.